What if I told you there's a late-night twisting? Detroit's secondary that could force the front office to change the next 4 weeks in a single phone call. What if one room at Allen Park just went from strength to stress, and the rest of the NFC North is about to find out what this locker room is made of? And what if the question isn't, did something happen? But how fast can the Lions respond before Sunday turns into a stress test on the outside? I'm not talking about whispers. I'm talking about hard conversations between trainers, coaches, and scouts, the kind that start with MRI times and end with contingency plans. This is the kind of week where you learn a team's habits, who panics, who plans, who plays better angry. And right now, Detroit has to be all planning. No panic. Here's my promise for this video. We'll lay out exactly why the cornerback room is under the brightest light in the building, what the timelines could look like, how matchups shift for Week 5 and beyond, who the next men up really are, what to watch in coverage shells, and which outside names even make sense on a trade or short-term deal without breaking the cap or the culture. No spoilers, yet you'll get the full picture first. You're watching Lions News Fan Report. If you live and breathe this team like we do, hit subscribe, drop a like, and turn on those alerts so you're here when news breaks and plans change. Welcome back, family. Let's set the stage. Through 4 weeks, this defense has built its personality on leverage, speed to the ball, and a pass rush that wins the down early so the back end can win the ball late. The corners in this system aren't just passengers. They're pilots. They dictate splits, deny quick game, and force quarterbacks to hold just long enough for the rush to cash in. When that rhythm gets shaken, everything else, the pressure, the spin, the late safety rotation has to tighten up, and the schedule doesn't wait for anyone. Week 5 brings a Bengals team that loves to force you into uncomfortable spacing and makes a living on throwing into tight windows outside the numbers. You need healthy, disciplined boundary corners to take away those timing routes and force Joe Burrow to his second read. The margin is always thin in October. This week it's razor thin. Depth, then. In Detroit's room, you've got veterans who can hold the fort and specialists who punch above their size when roles are clean. Amik Robertson's feistiness and ball skills. Khalil Dorsey's foot speed and return man courage. Rock Ya-Sin's experience when the game gets muddy. None of them are scared of the moment. The trick is fitting them into the right snaps against the right body types without opening a leak somewhere else. That's coaching, that's plan, that's Tuesday through Saturday work. From a scheme lens, Aaron Glenn's menu gives you answers, more robber looks on second and medium, a little press bail to disguise cushion, safety nails that close the slant window and bait the outbreaker. But you can't call it if you don't trust your outside corners to survive on an island when the disguise notes away. That's why weeks like this stress test communication as much as talent. Get the call, get the leverage, win the down. Front office ripple effects, they're real. October is when smart teams steal value. A vet on a prove-it deal. A practice squad call-up with special teams teeth. Or a buy-low trade for a scheme fit whose tape is better than his current role. Every move has to be cap clean and culture clean. And when your contention window is open, you can't let a short-term wobble become a long-term identity. OK 10th paragraph. Here's the news you came for. Straight and clear. Both starting boundary corners came out of the week. 4-win over Cleveland banged up DJ Reed with a hamstring that looked bad enough to require a cart. And Terrion Arnold with a shoulder that pulled him out after a second-half tackle. Reed has since been placed on injured reserve. Arnold's issue is considered not major, and whether he goes in Week 5 is a matter of how quickly that shoulder calms down. Those are the facts on the board as of now. What does that mean for Sunday and for the month? In the short term, you're likely looking at Amik Robertson and Khalil Dorsey handling the boundary, with Rock Ya-Sin rotating in and matchups dictating who takes the bigger body. It's not ideal, but it's a plan, and a plan beats panic every time. The good news? This staff leans into clarity. Jobs will be defined. Help will be built into the call sheet. and the tackling angles will be drilled nonstop this week. Zooming out a beat, Dan Campbell has already suggested the outcome split. Reed is going to be down for a while, and Arnold isn't considered a major long-term concern, with availability hinging on the next few days of treatment and strength. Translation: prepare as if you're without one starter for a stretch, and treat the other as true day-to-day. It's sobering, but it's not season-breaking, especially if the pass rush keeps stealing the quarterback's clock. Roster chess follows injuries, and Detroit has already started rearranging pieces. The IR move for Reed creates room to maneuver, and the practice squad door is open for a steady veteran to learn the language and backfill snaps fast. You don't fix October with a March contract. You fix it with smart Tuesdays. Should the Lions dial for outside help? That's where rumor meets reality. Around the league, teams are monitoring whether Seattle would listen on Pro Bowl corner Rick Woolen, who has seen his snap share fluctuate and enters a contract crossroads. It's a name that fits the height, length, speed profile and could let Robertson live more in the slot, but it's also a move that comes with cost, timing, and a learning curve. If Detroit kicks the tires, it'll be because the price and the personality make sense, not because social media yelled loud. For now, it's just that monitoring and speculation. Timelines matter most. If Arnold trends up through the week and returns quickly, your boundary rotation stabilizes and the emergency fades into a 2-game patch job. If he needs one more week, you tighten the screws, steal a possession with special teams, and make the Bengals play left-handed. Detroit's own updates have leaned optimistic on Arnold's horizon, and Thursday-Friday practice reports will tell the truth. Either way, the identity of this defense, fast, violent, connected, doesn't have to change just because the nameplates do. So here's the heartbeat. Lions fans, this is one of those stretches that looks terrifying from 30,000 feet and turns into a rallying point at the ground level. Robertson and Dorsey have chips on their shoulders the size of Michigan Avenue. Yassin has played every coverage in the book, and Glenn's toolbox is deep. Pressure plus leverage equals takeaways. Win first down, win the tackle at the sticks, win the red zone, do those three, and you buy your corners the one thing every DB needs: time to breathe. Before we close, I want to hear from you. Would you roll with the current room and trust coaching to cover the gap while Arnold works back? Or would you get aggressive and make a call on a veteran or a trade target if the price is right? Name your top 2 options in the comments and tell me your Week 5 starting trio boundary, nickel, and why. This is your team. This is our conversation. My personal opinion. This is a punch you can absorb without losing who you are. And any outside move, Woolen or otherwise, should be treated strictly as speculation until timelines and prices line up.